Well, the first piece of information on practicing off the cushion is we're not going to be able to do it as deeply as we do on the cushion. That sounds really obvious, but most people have an expectation it'll be the same. It won't. And also, it isn't like a light switch. It's not either on or off. It's either, fully on or fully off. It's more like a dimmer switch. In your house, you can turn the light from 1% to 100% and it gets brighter. That's more like how awareness is with the breath. We can be on the breath a very, very little amount. 10% of our awareness can be there. And we can have 90% on our world. So we can still function. I don't recommend people do like driving or things like that and do the practice. But for example, if you're going to go in the grocery store, this is something you could sit in your car or you could sit outside the store, just meditate for a few minutes, make contact with the breath, and then as you're there, slowly open your eyes, maintaining contact, and then slowly get out of your car or your vehicle and make your way into the store, staying with the breath a little. If you lose the breath, stop. Reconnect. When you feel you've got a fair connection, then you want to start again with what you're doing. And this will develop to where, like right now, I can even talk with you all and I can still be in touch, have awareness with the breath in the Anapana region. Because I've done this a lot. I've practiced a lot. So this is a potential for everyone. But you want to just work on it off the cushion. If you don't cultivate this practice off the cushion, it will never develop fully. Everyone must practice it off the cushion too. If you're on retreat, it's not going to develop to jhana unless you practice it effectively 24/7. As the whole time you're awake, you need to be with the breath. Yeah, great question. And I don't have one answer for this. The reality is, for some people, doing the heart practices first is the most beneficial. For other people, it's not. Doing breath awareness, then going to heart practices works better. So I tell people now, experiment. I usually try the heart practices first and then go to the breath, see how that works for you. You can tell because when you're with the breath, there'll be a kind of love, a kind of sensitivity, tenderness, heart juiciness too, with awareness. And that's how you know the heart is engaged. When it gets to that dryness where it's just like, ugh, then that means that it's getting dry, and that's a time to invite more heart practice. So you can drop back down to the heart practice, do whatever heart practice you're doing, and then come back. But lead with the heart practice first is my choice. And make sure that they know it's subtle, because people often look for sort of a big something, and often it's like really in the corners of the room, or it's under the couch. It's more subtle, and you've got to kind of sense. You have to get your intuition a little more refined to start picking up on it. And also, if you're trying with any goodness, you can also shift them to compassion. Some people, compassion is their way in, and other people, it's either metta or the heart practice. So that's the other thing. Find if they have a preference for one of those or proclivity. And for most of us, we will, if it's your first time and you feel like your head is missing, that can be a startling experience. And those initially can bring us out of our meditation because we're just so surprised. We hear the instruction, but we don't actually believe it's going to happen for us on some level. So just know there'll be a certain excitement, and then once you purify that, which is more purification of mind, then you can be with the breath and have the body all around the room or totally gone. But it's preparing us for the jhana, that we can experience it and not have a body, not have a self. So this is where we're cultivating that ability to be with pure awareness without a physicality or a sense of self. Great. Thanks for all the questions. I'm appreciating this because we're really filling it out nicely. It's a big body of material. It's very complicated too. But what I like about the jhana practice, I told people when I first did the retreat, I had done, I don't know, something like 30 years of Zen practice and had a couple awakenings. But in Zen meditation, I felt like a hot air balloon pilot. I could get my balloon in the air, but I never knew where it was going to go or how it was going to land, meaning I had no technique once the meditation was underway. I only knew to stay present. And with the jhana practice, I've learned so much. I tell people it's like being a jet pilot today. There's all these knobs and switches and gauges, and I know how most of them work and how to adjust and change and benefit the meditation. So that's really what this practice affords us too, is we learn a lot of technique that we can apply later to other meditations too. There's a lot of sophistication that Theravada Buddhism has about meditation because they've really preserved it for this 2,600 years. So just to say, it's a lot of good skill, a lot of good learning.